Hey, I'm Scharrf, and I'm here at American Musical Supply. I play guitar for Saturday Night Live, as well as being a producer and a writer and my own artist project, Pearl Lion. I was initially a drummer. I started playing drums in 4th grade, then eventually started taking lessons on guitar in 5th grade. My parents were massive music people. My dad was a huge Clapton fan. But yeah, I was playing in bands like my whole life, you know, throughout high school, college. I was a jazz performance major for about a year and a half, and then I was like, I hate this. I do not want to do jazz music. So I transferred out of that, but continued to work on like jazz ensemble and private lessons in college. I have always taken private lessons since the beginning, and quite frankly, I think that's the best thing to do. I always felt like I learned the most outside of the lessons by exploring and kind of jamming to music, but the lessons really helped me learn some of the theory and the ideas behind it and the technique, or just pointed me in the right directions. And then I kind of took that into my own like worlds and like studies and jams and whatever. Got signed to a major label like right when I graduated. That didn't really work out, but kept doing bands. Started producing and writing more pop music and like my own stuff, and then eventually landed the guitar player role for Saturday Night Live in 2007. Everything that I learned from 5th grade and on has influenced the work that I do. Playing in rock bands growing up just taught me how to interact with musicians and how to jam out, and studying the blues and stuff like that, which I was doing in high school on my own, really kind of came back later, which was very useful to have at SNL because we do a lot of blues stuff. Like when I was in jazz school, you know, I was like going through like my funk phase, and I was learning how to sight read in ensembles, and I was learning jazz stuff and working on reading, and like all of those things really did prepare me for being the guitar player for SNL. I was recommended by the previous guitar player to audition for the job for the SNL guitar player, and this was like 2006. So yeah, I ended up sending some YouTube videos. So I sent those to the band leader, Lenny Pickett, and then I got an invite to meet him and have like a hang, which was an audition. He's like, bring a guitar. I was like, oh, it's an audition. So I went, ended up having an amazing 3-hour hang audition with him, and then I ended up getting a call back with, they had, you know, brought the whole pot of guitar players down to just like 4 of us, and then that was with the entire rhythm section, and we played maybe 5 or 6 songs, one person at a time kind of thing, and that was with the whole rhythm section, and then that was in August of 2006, or maybe July, and then I got a call a couple weeks later from Lenny, and it was like, you got the gig? My first response was, really? I don't know why I said that, but yeah, so I was really stoked, and the rest, as they say, is history. Honestly, the most challenging part of playing guitar on SNL is the sight reading. I can read, you know, but I hadn't really read since college, and that's not something like, as a rock guitar player, which I more am, and a producer and writing my own songs and all that stuff, like I wasn't reading since I left school. So when I knew that I was possibly going to audition, I started reading all these sight reading books and started working on it just in case. Thank God I did. I think the job really launched me into playing with some pretty amazing musicians, more so, like more on the guitar front. Just by playing with the SNL band, I was asked to join the Sting Rainforest benefit house band. My first concert for the Sting and Trudy Rainforest benefit that I did, we did the encore of Don't Stop Believing. And Sting was like, can you come out on stage? He's like, is that cool? I was like, well, all right, well, if you're gonna have me like come out front and do the solo, like, I'm gonna like go for it. He's like, yeah, like, go for it. I was like, okay, all right. So strap me up with a wireless. You know, I like move aside from Nile Rodgers, who's the other guitar player in the band, that's already a whole trip. So like, I walk up and I start playing the solo and I start rocking out, and like it's Sting and Lady Gaga and Elton John and Debbie Harry and Bruce Springsteen, and I like just like I just did the thing, man. I like back to back with Sting's on like the microphone stand, rocking out, and I'm like soloing, and that was nuts. It's on YouTube, you can find that. Probably the most outrageous story of me playing guitar in SNL. The best one was when Mick Jagger hosted, Jeff Beck was there and they were gonna play a song together and we were gonna back them up. So Vinnie Colaiuta got on drums, who like I'd been listening to Sting's 10 Summer's Tales like all through high school, like on repeat. And so it was like crazy to like play with that drummer from that album. And just Vinnie being a badass. But so yeah, so we played a song and Mick Jagger's like singing and Jeff Beck starts to take a solo. And I'm just sitting there playing and I'm like, this is insane. This is completely insane. And Mick Jagger, like, he's like goes to one side of the stage and he like kind of comes back. And for some reason he just kind of like looks at me and I was just like watching him and I'm laughing, I'm smiling, I'm laughing. I'm like, this, I just can't believe this. And he looks at me, we catch eyes and he just gives me this like this is pretty rad, huh, kid? And I was like, yeah, you know? And then he just like turns his head and he like goes off back into like Mick Jagger land. That was pretty crazy. That was a fun one. So I produce my own artist project, which is called Pearl Line. So I spend a lot of time working on that stuff. I have a bunch of videos out. It's instrumental, but like anti-shred. But I do that, and then I also do a lot of stuff with like the urban world. So like I do a lot of guitar loops and a lot of like sample library type vintage stuff. And I've also done a lot of pop music for years and years and years. So I am certainly no stranger to manipulating sounds on computers and plugins, and I mean the majority of the time I spend is like sitting on a desk on a computer. I love like getting into a studio and collaborating with like different artists, or just writing a song with a singer or an artist just like with a guitar, and then like building a track around it, like drums and synths and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I was producing my own demos when I was doing my own band back in the day, and just kind of never really looked back since then.